Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Main Character Syndrome. I'm your host, Cheesymanfredo, aka Alfredo Morales. And before we start on today's episode, let me just give thanks to our previous two guests, Spiral and Spadeheart. Check out our previous episode where we talk about these evil black creatures and why we need to get rid of them. But enough about that. Let's talk about our two new guests that we got with us here today. Eddy Atoms and Sporktown Heroine. Thank you for returning back to the show.
Hello.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
The first time the both of us have ever been on a single podcast. This is it.
Oh,
yeah.
There's no other ones.
Not counting.
No, there's never happened before.
Okay, I'll go with that. I am a newbie / non-normally participating in podcasts, both listening and talking. But I did listen to last week's episode of Main Character Syndrome, and it was pretty funny.
You probably because I'm doing the smart move again of making like these episodes like 2 weeks in advance. You did not listen to the previous one because you listened to the one before that one. Okay. The one about the iCarly stalker.
Yes, the one about the iCarly stalker.
Base topic. Oh man, you know what? Actually, wait for the audience. Eddy, can you tell us what you do? What are you most infamous for?
I am a comic creator, and I am most infamous for my comic Pinky and Pepper Forever.
Mm-hmm.
I have done some other ones.
Oh yeah, a couple of zines have come out after Pinky and Pepper.
Yeah, my latest comic was called Lamb Chop.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get a chance to read it?
I have not.
I have not read it.
Because I've been broke every time there's like an opportunity to buy one. Coincidentally,
I've been meaning to put it up like on Gumroad or Itch or one of those sites where you can do pay what you can, because I really want more people to read it, but I'm just.
If you send me a copy, I'll. I already told you I was gonna send you 2 of the Luna porn comics.
Oh hell yeah, we can do a trade.
Yeah, that'd be excellent.
Where is it? Where are you selling it through?
In person.
In person. I have it on my Patreon too. It's on my Patreon as well.
Oh yeah, you should join Eddy's Patreon. It's pretty good. I'm not a part of it, but I'm assuming it's good.
It's all right. It's I just post my sketchbook like many other artists. Post my sketchbook every month, and if a new zine comes out, I will just post it there for free as well. So.
Epic.
I guess it's not free; it's Patreon, but it's an extra bonus.
Mm-hmm. What do you do, Spork, besides being on every one of my podcasts?
I draw funny little pictures on Twitter.com, and I sleep a lot. That's it. That's all I do.
She's looking for a job in art.
I am
everybody
trying. We'll see how that goes.
Mm-hmm,
if any of you viewers have a job for me, I will do
it. If any of you are like, oh, there he goes. If any of you are like some big bucks billionaire CEO who needs some art person, here's Spork right
only
there.
If you're a billionaire. If you can give me at least $1 million, I will work for you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I just draw. That's pretty much it. Illustrator.
I've been really liking all the stuff. I've been really liking all the stuff you've been drawing recently.
Thank you.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, me too. I will say it again. I love the mantis chicks. I love the werewolf transformation pics.
She drew like a huge fucking werewolf. That was pretty good. I remember.
Nice.
Thank you.
I love werewolves. I play a werewolf tribal deck on Magic the Gathering.
So, oh yeah.
Big fan.
I played Magic the Gathering like once.
Well,
pretty
it's
good
never
game.
been better.
I like Magic the
than
Gathering.
It is now.
I don't like it as much as some people do, though. So
Do you? You like Magic the Gathering?
I
Spork?
do. It's fun.
Oh, okay. I was like, that's so weird. I don't think I ever seen you bring that up.
No, because usually other people bring it up for me.
Oh, okay. Well. That's how it be.
I
Oh,
I like Magic. I don't keep up with the meta of it, so talking to anybody about it is just like I have no idea what you're talking about.
mm,
I just want to play a
Yeah,
funny card game once
I
in a
am.
it
while.
is a funny card game. That's why I like Commander because it doesn't rotate. You can play anything from any era.
I am. There was like a year ago or so where me and my partner were trying to come up with a card game that's basically like it's like Yu-Gi-Oh on baby mode, and
Yu-Gi-Oh needs to be on baby mode. That game is fucking broken.
yeah,
Yu-Gi-Oh is
and
just Magic on baby mode.
but even more
Pokemon is like Magic on baby mode.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
even more baby mode. But I think what my focus was gonna be that like because you know how like a lot of card games have like a meta, and I mean obviously, but
Yes.
there's this one video I was watching that was just talking about Yu-Gi-Oh, like the history of Yu-Gi-Oh meta, and they talk about how like event people just specialize in certain kinds of decks, and that always kind of bothered me because it's like, oh, then by default there's like these monsters you're always going to see being played on the field, and it feels kind of like dull, like compared to like like the anime where like a character's whole thing would be like there'd be a guy whose whole thing is that he's like shark themed, so all of his monsters are sharks.
Yeah.
Even though the meta that wouldn't be viable, he would lose every time,
The
right?
this is the problem I have with multiplayer games is the metagame is just not fun. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of if you play like multiplayer games, you usually have to like you're like the kind of person who cares about like winning and you want like, oh, how do I
Mm-hmm.
min max and make the best deck possible that I have the highest chance of winning, but I don't find that fun and I don't like how the meta changes all the time. I just
Mm-hmm.
That's why I don't play any multiplayer games. Even video games, this are the same way. Like, oh, they changed this character a little bit, so now they're not viable. It's like, ugh, just let me play a
I
game.
I so yeah, we were trying to come up with a card game that focus would be it doesn't matter what kind of like type of aesthetic you choose, it would all be like viable in the end, you know? And there was gonna be a big focus on like silly, like kind of cutesy like mascot characters. Like we weren't gonna call them monsters, we were gonna call them mascots.
That's really
And,
difficult to
Sounds
do because
fun.
you have to balance the game to be
mhm.
perfectly balanced, which is almost impossible.
I I think there's got like even if it's not totally balanced, I still want it to be like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, my whole aesthetic is like cute little guys, or my whole aesthetic is like freaky little guys. Like both types of decks should be viable, you know. Um, that's what like I'm trying to approach. And me and my partner played like a test run of it, and I was awful at it. But I don't really care. I don't want to be like good at my own card game. I just want this kind of card game to exist. It's like do you think Sakurai is like good at Smash Bros?
Oh,
He
he
probably is.
is. He
Nah, he's
definitely
not.
is, yeah. No, he
Nah, he probably
absolutely is.
sucks. Nah, he probably
No.
sucks. No, he probably sucks. Probably bad at it.
No, he is very good. And
No, he's
usually
probably garbage at
for
it.
these kinds of games, if you make the game, you're not allowed to participate because you know all the secret lore and the hidden
I
strats.
the way I see it, it's more like I'm creating tools, and it's like I'm creating Minecraft and people are playing. Yes.
It's yeah. I When I was a kid, I would like make little cards. Like I would get like a little pack of cards, like office, like little note cards or
The index
whatever,
cards, yeah,
index
yeah.
cards without the lines on them, and I would just like draw a bunch of cards like, oh, this one will have like 10 points and this one's gonna have like 3 and
hmm
like obviously I'm not even thinking about it. I'm just like having fun drawing all these little monsters.
Definitely.
That
I
stuff's
when I
fun.
was a kid, I invented with a neighbor kid like the new Pokemon, which was called Cinnamon in our world, and it was
Yes.
just like a total ripoff of Pokemon plus a ripoff of the Digimon theme song, and it was just like
What?
we
Hell
thought
yeah.
What?
we thought we were gonna make the
Xenamon.
next
Zenidal monsters.
Zenithal
exactly,
monsters.
and Yeah, we went so hard making so many cards. And then there was like this other neighbor kid that would make like the lamest Xenomons. It would be like
Mhm, mhm.
Smilemon with a smile face. And we'd be like, you gotta go. Like, you're
Yes.
out.
I've been
We were so serious.
I've been noticing more like artists nowadays are doing their own like little, not like a little trading cards, not necessarily like games, but just to kind of have as merch, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, like originals
Yeah,
or
yeah, like original. My buddy of mine, YOLO Swag Studios, did a
oh
bunch of
hell
cards.
yeah. I
It-
saw those cards. There's some funny shit in there. I
oh
remember.
yeah, did you see the big homo card that I designed for him?
Oh, you made it? I gotta look that up.
I wait, let me look for a picture of it. But yeah, he had like cards, and then he had like kind of variant designs made by like his buddies, and yeah, he did one for he got me to do Big Homo because he knew I'm a big fan of that joke. And I drew him looking like the Kingpin in Into the Spider-Verse.
Excellent.
Yeah, because I thought it'd be funny, and it was funny. I laughed. And I can't. God, I swear I posted it on Instagram, but it's not
Uh,
fucking showing up.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Spork. What are you gonna say? You could talk Spork while I look
I
for
wasn't gonna
it.
say anything, but I
Hmm.
I love all the little card games. I never really played them, and today it's like, yeah, like everybody who's into Yu-Gi-Oh is like insane into the meta. Like they'll just like say a bunch of words that don't make any sense in a conversation, and it'll be like, okay, cool, yeah, the XL
Yeah,
summon, and then I did the super turbo. It's like, okay, all right. That's the stuff I can't get into, but just like making a dumb little game with your friends is like, yes, that's the good stuff.
definitely. I would rather play a dumb little game made by pretty much anyone than play
I
Yu-Gi-Oh, to be
Yeah.
honest.
I I remember hearing the phrase synchro summon. I was
Synchro
like,
summon,
what the
yes.
fuck? What the fuck is that?
There's all sorts of crazy. See, the thing about Yu-Gi-Oh, maybe more than other games, but I'm not sure, so don't quote me. I don't know anything about cards. But the thing people complain about with Yu-Gi-Oh is like the power creep is like so insane that all of the old cards are basically useless. Like, please don't crucify me if I'm wrong. I'm just speaking generally. Like, if the like now, like every time they introduce new cards, they're like, "Oh, this is like the new big card." So we want people to use these cards, and over the years, like all this craziness gets added, and it's like the original Yu-Gi-Oh is like pretty simple game, and now you have to do like all this like craziness to even like be competitive. Like,
Yeah,
it it feels I don't know how I like feel that like all these older monsters people just don't give a shit anymore. And I mean, I guess it makes sense with like the anime because newer monsters get introduced all the time, and like current generation of kids are not gonna have no idea who the fuck like uh Buster Sword Knight or whatever the fuck they were called back then is, right?
Celtic
Um,
Knight.
Celtic Knight, all those like these OGs, right? It's like it's like so funny like looking at the meta, and then you watch. The thing is like I was more of an anime watcher, and I still didn't get how the
Yeah.
card game worked. And I
Oh,
would see all the
it's
cartoons and
nonsense in the
things.
anime. It literally doesn't work.
Yeah, yeah. Like I watched the anime, and then when you look at the meta, it's like how come no one plays like all the other cards they're playing in the anime?
It really just strips all the fun out of it. The people who play these games, like, you have to have fun with the metagame. Like, for us, we just want to, like, see our funny monsters and put them on the thing and be like, haha, I have the funny little dragon boy.
Mm-hmm,
But that's
mm-hmm,
not how
absolutely.
you have to play the game, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was
mm-hmm.
hanging out with some gamers and we were playing Pokemon, which is always fun. But I was trying to convince them to get into Magic. They're like, "Oh no, I'm too hard into Yu-Gi-Oh, so I can't get into another card game." I was like, "Okay, well,
You can just play
maybe I'll play
casually.
it."
It's not that
In
crazy.
my,
Yeah, yeah.
I,
But
I,
they
yeah,
showed
go
me.
on.
Oh,
No,
go
go
ahead.
on.
They showed me a Yu-Gi-Oh game, like two different decks, and it was like they won within the first turn, but the
Yeah.
first turn took like 45 minutes. And then the second game they won in the second turn, and but the second turn took
That's
like 30 minutes. I'm like, you might as well play solitaire, man. This is nuts.
yeah.
Yeah, it's literally like your deck has to be a machine that wins instantly or else you cannot play.
Exactly. Whereas Magic the Gathering, man, there's a lot of opportunities.
I
Yeah.
think a buddy of mine did teach me Magic the Gathering one afternoon, and they gave me like a pre like planned deck they already had, and I was like, but I still was like unsure, and I only knew this like self-destructing strategy that would every time my monster self-destructs, it like wipes out a bunch of monsters on the field, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna spam that, even though if it's slow, if it's like a shitty strategy in
Kills
the
you,
end,
yeah.
that's like the only move I know how to do, and like it's like it's a little bit of fun out of me because I'm kind of
Yeah.
annoying people
That's
by
kind
doing
of
it. Because
sorry,
yeah,
yeah.
they're gone.
With video games, it's a little different sometimes depending on the game. Like, um, or even with like chess, I'm really, really bad at chess because I never like actually took the time to learn it. I like playing it, but I never like studied it, and I never like practiced like with against like computers or anything. But the other day I was playing chess and I am like one of the worst players of chess of all time. Like I have won maybe two or three times in my entire life. And it's like I play so badly that there's no strategy behind it, so it's somewhat unpredictable. So I was able to win by just like the other person not being able to understand what I'm doing. So it's just like I
Congratulations.
You can't read my thoughts.
and fighting games can be like that if you're like low level. You can sort of be like, what, like, you can be bad enough to where you're kind of crazy and you can like pull off
Yes,
wins.
that's me on the fighting
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
Accidentally combo off, just like,
I
wow, how
I
did I do that?
Like
I kind
nobody would
of
ever pull out the super right then. Why did you do that? And then, well, I won. So,
yeah. The best strategy is that your opponent expects you to be smart.
yeah.
Like you didn't realize I would play like a complete idiot. You were prepared for that.
No
But like, I want
logic,
to change.
chaos.
I want to change topic for a minute because just for the audience sake, Eddie, you're a furry, right?
I am a furry,
Okay,
I'm
I asked this
proud.
question. I've been bringing up this question to every other podcast. But do you know about Bluey?
I don't. I
Do,
don't know what that is.
you never heard of Bluey?
The cartoon Bluey.
It's like a toddler show that
Oh,
my partner has really been getting me into. And
It's like
what
a
else?
I'm gonna look it up.
preschool,
I
like Blue's Clues-esque like
It
level
comes from
show.
like it comes from Australia. All the like little dog characters are like rectangle shaped, and they kind of do. What I kind of like is that they all like look very like kind of unisex looking or like androgynous looking, so you really can't tell who's a guy or a girl until you watch the show, and then they say right. But Bluey is like she's like the little dog girl down there, and she just hangs out with her family and whatnot. And it's up, and I just wanted to see if you were aware of this show.
I'm aware of it now. They are pretty damn cute, to be honest. But
it
I don't keep up with kids cartoons that
Well,
much.
the only reason I know about this is for my partner because they've been enjoying it, and I just want to say that there's been this slowly like growing adult fandom for this show,
Looking
and
at the character designs, it doesn't surprise me. They are charismatic.
right, and I think there's two types of people who like this show, and it's like parents who have to watch it with their kids. Like I've noticed a lot of parents have been liking this show because
And
it
parents,
doesn't just
yeah,
wait,
sorry.
wait. I'm not done spoiling. And parents, because the show focused a lot on the parents too. Like, not every episode is like focused on the kids. Like, a lot of the parents get like their own time to shine, and it's pretty like they're not like dumbed down like toddler school show parents. They're pretty like I guess a little bit more realistic. I guess would be the word I would use. And so yeah, so parents is like one part of the adult fandom, and the
And the
other half
others are boomerfied Zoomers.
no, the the others are kids who grew are like adults who had shitty childhoods. so,
Aw.
so if you had like an abusive or neglectful parent, you can watch this show and then project that you're Bluey.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, because recently the dad character whose name is Bandit, he was like he was like chosen like best dad in Australia like recently in a poll, and
Wow.
And I think he was also voted the sexiest dad in Australia too.
I love that. Just a loaf of corgi is
Yeah,
just the sexiest dad.
he's literally a fucking rectangle, but it's sexiest dad. I think it's his personality. He's very charismatic, and in the back of my head, I have this own little like fan theory of what's really going on with the show, like what's like the hidden deep lore. Is I think the show is like unironically the dad slowly teaching his two kids how to improv, because all the games they play are very like yes and games, and they always like come up with like little scenarios, and the kids always like kind of built like characters or stuff that could happen in that scenario. And the dad is never like, oh, that's dumb, or like, oh, we can't do that. No, the dad is always like yes and like he plays along with every scenario given, right? Yeah, and I think one of my favorite episodes is when the kids, it's Bluey and her sister Bingo, and they find $1. They find $5 in the house, and they tell their dad who's asleep, like, "Oh, can you take us to go get ice cream?" And the dad's like, "Oh, that's my $5, thanks." And the dad just takes it, and they're like, "Hey, we found it; it should be ours." And the dad's like, "All right, I'll take you guys to get ice cream, but you guys have to physically drag my body into the car." And he like drops down. Like he ragdolls down on the ground, and the girls have to like figure out like ways to bring him to the car. And there's one point where they just fling him down the stairs to get to the car. So I guess that's like what I mean by like there's this weird kind of like this kind of improv-ish attitude that this show like plays with. And I've been slowly telling every other guest on this show, I've been always finding a way to bring Bluey into the conversation.
Oh, thanks for letting us know. I think I'll probably check it out. I haven't watched like a cartoon for kids in a while. You know, I was a brony, and you know, the ponies are still close to my heart, but nothing has really hit the same.
You mean cartoons for like little kids?
Yeah, for little kids. Because I mean, like, I watched the fuck out of Rick and Morty, fucking Terry and Corvo.
For normal kids, yeah, Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, kids love Rick and Morty.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, adult animation, quote unquote. But like, you know, cartoons that are legitimately aimed at the younger set don't exactly make me feel comfortable.
I mean, I get that. Like, I mean, that's why I was like hesitant, because I think what helps is that like the first episode of Blue I watched was kind of like a silent episode where like it felt like I thought it was a short film at first. I thought someone just made this as a short, but no, it turns out it was part of a series. And there's like a handful of episodes that are just like silent, like, and like it's focused on like the weird animation they play along with.
So you're telling me it's art?
Yes, it's art. Finally, a toddler shows art.
Love it. And not only is it art, it's furry art.
It's furry art. Yes, exactly. There's actually, if you go on YouTube, you could find. Have you heard about the iceberg videos, Eddie?
Yes, definitely.
There's like 2 Bluey iceberg videos.
I'm sure it gets deep.
Yeah, I found out a lot. Like, oh, it turned out that the show at one point was going to be catered to adults, but then they like retooled it for kids. Because it was the guy who created the show originally mostly did toddler shows, and he's like, okay, I think I'm finally gonna create the adult show. But then he's like, we could just retool this back into kid shows, and apparently it is based on his like experience with his own kids, which is kind of interesting because I mentioned before there's a big focus on like improv, or like there's a big focus on like these kind of improv games the kids play, and that makes me think like if the creator's a writer and if it's based on his experience with kids. Has he been just playing like improv games with his kids because he's like a writer? It's it goes deep. I think it's interesting because I hear a lot about other shows like a bunch of other shows that are basically like about oh yeah, this was my experience with my kids, so I made this into a show, you know. But
I'm looking at a Bluey iceberg JPEG right now, and I have gotten down to the part where it says real fairies and magic, Jackson HD, Bluey goes to a Waldorf school.
This is like adults need, even if they like enjoy the show, adults need like lore for a show to be like interesting to them. Like all the shows, all
I
the like kids shows that get popular with adults, people are like, oh, but the lore, like Steven Universe, or like,
Mm,
I
oh,
I
you know,
I think it's because there's like, well, the show. Well, you got to think about it like this. The show is made by adults,
I
you
know.
know,
I'm
and
just saying, like, if it's like too surface level, it's hard for adults to really care that much.
unless
mhm.
the characters are really hot and bangable.
I
That's
think,
true.
yeah, true. I think I think if I were to think of like a show that's, I think the shows that like are about like the character literally talking to the kid for the TV screen, those are like adults don't need that. You know, they don't really need like to have Dora teaching them Spanish,
Yeah.
right? But for this show, there's no moment like that at all where like it's not the kind of show where the character literally asks you like what is the correct thing for me to do in
Dora
this situation.
Yeah.
could do with some lore, you know? Like she could be like, you know, like Dora, okay, so the thing about Dora is like she goes into like a computer, right? Or something like that.
No, she's like a computer game or
She
something.
yeah, okay, she's like a game, right?
She's
Mhm.
basically a Digimon.
Right, yeah,
There
she's a
is
Digimon.
kind of, you could probably say like, oh, there's kind of lore, but since it's like a show for like 4-year-olds, there's no like callbacks from other things that happen in other episodes, I don't think. So it's like, you know, she's like a Tomb Raider. Uh,
I
you could
wasn't
easily
that
put
was
Dora
literally like the
somewhere.
basis for the movie,
The
wasn't
movie,
it?
yeah. The movie is just like, yeah, adventure movie.
Yeah, the movie like weirdly implies that she might have been getting high this whole time or something, which
What?
is
On
which is
what?
oh, okay. So there's this one scene in the live action movie where okay, certain characters from the show exist in live action form. Like Swiper the fox is a real thing. Like it's an actual like kind of humanoid looking fox that steals
Mhm.
shit, and Boots is real too. But like all the other characters, there's like a scene where one of the characters like eats like a mushroom in like the rainforest that they're in, and then he starts hallucinating all of Dora's friends, and everything turns into the Dora animation
All
for
the
for a
backtrack
minute.
and map and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, like it turns into like the Dora animation for a couple of
That's
seconds,
so
and it's like
stupid.
it's it's because I haven't seen the movie, but the vibe that I get from the movie is that they weren't sure exactly how old they were guessing the Dora fandom is at this point. I mean, I guess Dora would be my generation,
It is a
so
kids
we're
movie.
like
It's like a family movie.
the Dora kids are about to enter their 30s at this point.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
true.
Hmm.
It's for the kids of the adults who grew up with Dora.
You're excited for the Blue's Clues movie coming out?
I might check it out. I
The,
always thought
the,
Blue's Clues had like the coolest like premise with like going into like pictures and stuff. And
mhm.
like you go into like another world with like a different art style. I thought that was really cool. If they do that in the movie, they probably won't, but if they do that in the movie, it'll be cool.
I know in the movie they said the movie was gonna be like because recently in a lot of Blue's Clues they bring back all the previous hosts, so they're doing like Blue's Clues
Yes.
generations. Like
I only watched like 2 of the hosts. I don't think I watched the third one.
the third one's
So,
new.
yeah,
The,
okay.
the, the third one is like is the most newest one out of all of them.
S- I don't really have any like I don't have any love for Steve really or whatever
Really?
his name is. Like it's
Is it
okay that this is the guy, you know, he's just a dude. I'm not
he
like, "Oh man, my man Steve. Whoa." Like nah, not really.
Yeah, he's boring. Blue's Clues is boring. I mean,
I liked
if
it.
they did Blue's Clues like they did Pee Wee's Playhouse, I would be into it.
Oh
oh
Like,
my
my god.
God.
get Tim
Yes.
Yo,
Burton
wait,
on
That
I
that.
was like the Pee Wee show is like so old it could not possibly like a kid would not possibly know what it is. So they just
they
did
they
that.
need to I'll bring back I'll do my version of the Pee Wee show, but it'd be like with Pasta the Clown, and it'll be way out there.
You know
I
what
think
show
that'd
I
be
would
great.
reboot? I would like do like Roly Poly Oly. Anybody see that?
That show
I'm
is
aware.
trippy as fuck. That's like early 3D animation,
Yeah,
Hmm.
Roly Poly
like
Oly, they're
very
like all
weird
robots
looking.
and it's everything's like alive like a robot and it's like this is
Hmm.
awesome.
It reminds me of Robots the movie. You know,
No,
Yeah,
it
it
Robots.
does
will
look
not be
like
like
that.
Robots the movie.
Uh,
I love Robots the movie. We
That movie's okay.
All I
It's
remember is like a big granny robot with a fat ass.
yeah,
Oh my God,
she had a
yeah.
fat ass in it, and
Right.
Bigwell was
Big
really and
Weld.
Bigwell was like, wow, I
He was
really
like,
love
uh-oh.
women with a fat ass, and he got a robot.
The crazy thing about robots is they had to like build their child and then the child had to like build upon itself to get older, you know?
The movie's pretty pro trans because one of the characters um like as a joke puts on women parts in order to escape a certain area, and they just kind of stick to that till the end of the movie, I think.
I
And,
guess that's
That must
pro-trans.
feel good, actually.
or actually no, it's not pro trans because
That's
it's
like
all
the
like
wacky, stupid character.
it's like oh it's like hey that's my brother, and then they see it's like oh wait no that's my ugly sister. It's like oh no that's not good.
Roly Poly Oly was incredible, and it still looks good today because they're very simple and geometric. They're all circles,
They're all, yeah,
and
very
they're very
stylized.
cute, and it's
Hmm.
good.
Hmm. Yeah, I think I remember most of the other top like when I was entering my teenage years, I had like younger brothers, so they would watch the toddler show. I remember my youngest really being into like Wow Wow Wubbzy, which I think looks
Yeah.
really good. I really like how
Wow Whoopsie
rectangular
does look good. It's the same artist as the Yin Yang Yo, isn't it?
I think it is. It's
Yeah.
just they simplified like the eyes don't look the same. Everyone has just like dot eyes. You know?
If it's not the same, it's very similar. You're looking at the
Oh
picture I
yeah,
just posted.
this no, I haven't read it yet. Look at that snatch waist, no, which is nuts. You guys, that was a mistake. Oh my god!
It's
And
cute.
I'm really on the fence about going back to Tumblr and probably just posting stuff there. And if it gets taken down, so fuck whatever. I got a bunch of other social medias where I post stuff anyway.
Tumblr seems alright.
You still on Tumblr, Eddie?
No, not for many years.
You just seem to just be on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm just not a website guy in
I
general.
hate Instagram so much.
Uh, you're right for hating Instagram. It's really terrible, but it's so terrible that I am not tempted to like use it other than just posting my shit.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
not on there
Exactly.
like really looking at all of it because it's all just ads and like
I
bullshit.
I find it convenient to like help out, like to know what's happening in my local scene, you know,
Yeah, true
because
about that too.
because back when the BLM protests were happening, like that's kind of how I knew where the next protest would happen.
Same.
People would be like, "Oh yeah, show up at the mayor's house this time." And it's like,
Hell
okay,
yeah.
cool, yeah, let's pull up,
Yeah,
right?
it's good for locals. It's good for like knowing about shows and events. And
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I still have a big following on there, so I hope it never gets
I
like
it
deleted or whatever. But
yeah, so many like I've like made a lot of I've made a lot of connections to local scene stuff through Instagram. I don't know. Spork is kind of antisocial. Maybe she doesn't like. That's why she doesn't like her local scene. Yeah, she went.
Yeah,
Didn't
sure,
okay,
exactly, yeah.
wait, but okay, you went to a zine fest, Spork, and you bought like a shitload of zines you have not read yet.
I've read like one or two of them, yeah. I paid
Uh,
like $60 on zines and I did not read any
damn.
of them.
So
I don't know.
you bought three scenes, is what you're saying?
No,
Oh
I
my
bought a
god.
lot of them. You saw all the zines I bought.
I'm just making a joke of how expensive some of the zines end up
I
becoming
didn't,
Yeah,
sometimes.
dude,
yeah,
printing has gotten really expensive. I mean, I've been printing zines for a long time, like probably 10 years, and
Hmm.
I used to sell everything for like $3, $5, and now like to get it printed, like it costs like $5 to print one book, so you have to sell it for 10. Like you might as well get a color print, like send away for one
yeah.
to be bound perfectly.
Yeah.
When it's so damn expensive just to use the Xerox machine at a damn Staples.
The the uh the one I went to was before the pandemic. It was like the year before. And a lot of the zines were actually quite cheap. There was this one guy who was selling them for like he they had this setup where they made a zine on like paper plates. Like they like drew on paper plates and then they scanned them and then they like each paper plate was a page and like it was like separated into like a pie chart, and you like went around it, you know, like you like
Was it a
circled
comic or
the comic, yeah. The
that
comic
sounds fun?
like each section of the piece of the pie a a panel of it's very difficult to read, but they had
It
they
was
they had they were selling theirs for like $1 a book, and they had each book was like 30 pages or more, like a spiral bound.
Excellent.
And they had like they showed me a picture. I was like, why are these so cheap? This is like a lot. And then they showed me why, and they showed me a picture of their house with just like an entire room covered in boxes of printouts of these zines. So
I
they found a way to do it. I don't.
I what I've been doing to make my little villain versus chick tracks is like I've been going to like Staples or Office Depot, and I print out like double-sided like page, both sides with like different like sets of images that I like have like a thin, almost like transparent gray line that would show me where to cut, and I use a cutting board to cut them into like little like strips that I fold and I staple together. And it's like a very annoying process. And I used to just give out those tracks for free until I like realized that I wasn't breaking even by doing that. Right? It was really like I guess fucking me up financially, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But giving away free stuff is so fun. I mean,
Yeah, I love giving. I mean, I would if I could find like a printer that would do it incredibly cheap. I would give out a lot of those for free.
Yeah.
Although to be honest, maybe I should just start giving those out for free because then I get a lot more on my tax return.
It's
Well,
interesting because we don't really
mm-hmm,
have a very we don't have a very robust like printing scene here in America. Like
mm-hmm,
in Japan, they can basically print doujins the same you can print a manga, you know? Like you can go to like there's like printers that are specifically dedicated to like doujins and like little fan things and like little indie things.
mm-hmm.
And we don't really have that. Like a lot of the printers for comics people use like print on like the glossy paper, even if it's like a black and white comic, and that's like wasteful.
That's unnecessary.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like
I I'm so yeah, like it's so like it feels so obvious that people should just start printing stuff on more of that like cheaper paper that like manga uses.
Yeah, just newsprint.
Yeah, people want that. Like people want that. Like manga's so popular. Like
we
why
want
wouldn't
that.
you?
We just
I mean, it's not archival. It doesn't last, forever. But who cares? It's comics. Like
it's
comics are
yeah.
trash, man.
Yeah,
I
comics
mean,
is the lowest form of art. It's
it really
disgusting.
is.
Yeah,
And I
let's
There's
guess
be
the
honest.
collector scene kind of changed that, but
um,
it's still just.
I always hated all that collector related shit. A lot of people, I've not a lot of people, but one guy told me that why should I he asked like why don't like get my comics like slabbed, which means like you ever been to a convention and you see those comics that are covered in like the plastic like frame with like the price on it or something?
Yeah.
I don't know specifically why people do that, but apparently
plastic frame.
it's I'll see if I can find an image of it.
You mean
But
the boarding? Are they like boarding?
it's like a plastic, it's like almost like a plastic protector.
Yeah, not like a regular bag and board, but like a plastic top loader.
And it has like the top has like a blue rectangle with like a number and a price. Like, look, I'll show
They
you
do
it.
it for Pokemon cards too, Like you
Yeah,
send
they
it in to go
Oh.
get graded.
yeah this thing. You know
Oh.
what I'm talking
Right.
about?
Yeah, the grading little case.
Yeah, and it really like doesn't do, and it really there's no point of doing it if unless
Especially
you're
for your own books. Like what are you
right.
supposed
Exactly.
to
Like I just like to make more
Getting a
money.
little
I already
ahead of
make.
yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Like people, you should only do this to like first printings from shit in the '60s. Like, there's no point of doing it if you're just some douche right now who's making your stuff, right? And also like the younger generation doesn't really care about this kind of shit, you know. Like I literally haven't heard of this term until recently when I went to a convention where it was a much older crowd, right?
Yeah.
But up until now, like I don't see no motherfucker like in my age group caring about this shit. It seems pointless. It seems like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, people are like too precious about like you're not Superman #1 and you're never gonna be dog. Calm down.
Yeah,
Calm the fuck down, bro.
one of my favorite comic artists, Beatrix Erkowitz, she actually just put a new book out recently. It's called The Lover of Everybody in the World. But all the zines that I have from her literally have like the recycling symbol on the back, and it just says like, "Please recycle when you're done." And I always thought that was such a baller move. Like, I would never put that because, like, obviously I want people to treasure my work, but there's something really cool about just like admitting like how like ephemeral comics are. Of course, like the comics I have from her, I would never recycle. They're to me, but
I just want to say, like, super like low cost printing is like really appealing to me because
go on, Spark.
There's this one store next to a comic store that has like toys and things. They have these like zines that were like traditionally like Xerox printed zines, and they were like these thick books, and the quality in them was not good. Like the quality of the pictures, because it was like a Xerox and there probably wasn't that much ink, but it's like you don't really need, depending on what kind of art you're doing, you don't really need much more than this. Like if you can just like get like very cheap, like very simple and like very direct and just like print like a bunch of it, you could just have like a lot of comic for not much money, and that's really appealing to me.
I wish I had my own Xerox machine. I mean, everybody's on the Risograph tip, which is really cool, and apparently
I love that.
It's cheap to produce if once you get it all together. But man, I would love one of those, but I would love a regular Xerox machine too. I went to FedEx a couple of years ago, you know, when FedEx bought Kinko's, and all the machines were updated to some digital thing that like doesn't work better. And I was like, then where did all those machines go? Like, why couldn't I have been in the parking lot that day? Like,
you might be able to track those down.
I might have to go on to eBay. There's someone's fucking storage.
One day, I'll settle down.
I wish there was like some sort of some worker some worker co-op that like does the printing for you. Because then, if it makes enough money, it could just have enough money to just exist, and it won't have to be like profit based, and there won't be a need to just update all their stuff digitally.
It wouldn't be a makerspace library. I mean, I dream about things like that all the time. Like just
the Risograph are like really awesome. Like there's this company. Do you know this company Piao or PO?
Yes, I heard that this was their final year, though.
Yes,
so I want to buy all their books this year.
The best indie comic publisher of all time is going out of business because they're just tired of doing it. But Piao books are all risographed. I have a bunch of them, and they're beautiful. And it's like this is like awesome. Like they did so much cool stuff with like a bunch of different. Like they would just like find a cool creator and just say, "You want to make a comic for us?" And then they like just do it, and it's like this is awesome. Like this risograph stuff is like really excellent, and it seemed to be a good business model for them for a while. They're shutting down just because it's like a lot of work for them. They've gotten really big, and that's
Yeah, I have a handful of their books too that were pretty good. Gleam was a good one. I got Ice Cream and Beast, who I love Iggy Craig's stuff a lot. And I know there's an Ice Cream and Beast too. I gotta buy that. But I loved their comic, Sad Girl Space Lizard from a couple years ago. That one was so
I don't think
good.
I saw that one.
Oh, you gotta check it out. It's so hot. It's like
Space Lizard.
Yeah, it's like two like it's almost like The Lighthouse. Have you seen The Lighthouse?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's almost like The Lighthouse as if it was like reptilian furry porn.
This
is
like crazy looking. This reminds Uh-oh.
My cat just knocked down our fan. No.
Okay.
I knocked down a shelf right now. Oh god, that's awesome.
I'm looking at this on its website. You can buy it digitally. It's out of print, but I might check this out because this looks crazy.
It's really good.
Wait, link it in the call.
Okay.
Link in the call. I want to see this because once you said it was just like, what did you say it was? It was like
The Lighthouse.
I said it was like The Lighthouse if it was reptilian.
Lesbian Lizard Lighthouse.
But it's not really so much that as it's just because there's two people like out manning their post for like long hours.
I love stuff like that. This is like this looks really cool.
Yeah, currently out of print. Darn.
This reminds me of
Damn.
Pug Davis, Rebecca Sugar's comic. You ever seen that?
I never have.
I never read it because I need to buy it. It was like the comic she made before Steven Universe, like a couple years before. Like,
Wasn't it like right before Steven Universe she made that comment?
I don't know how long before, but yeah, it was probably whenever she was working on like Adventure Time, because that's the only way I would have known about her. But yeah,
Yeah, it looks Adventure Time influenced. It looks cool.
yeah, Rebecca Sugar's style is really cool.
Well, more like Adventure Time is influenced by her.
I mean,
Yeah.
she helped make it, so
Yeah, she was like in charge of like those few like seasons after Pendleton Ward technically left like creative head or something.
Was she? Because I think she left after. Oh, she left after. When did she leave?
She
4 or 5?
she was there for a while, like during pre-production of Steven Universe, I think, and Pendleton Ward. I can't remember which season he just stopped being creative head at. It just seemed like he was super
Yeah.
uninterested in Adventure Time.
I don't know if he was because I remember like towards the end he was like, "I'm trying to get this movie going," because I said that they wanted to make an Adventure Time movie, but it just didn't work out.
I saw a movie recently that was kind of like an Adventure Time movie. It was called The Spine of Night. The Spine of Night.
Okay, that
Let
sounds
me just
cool.
Wait a second. Was that the one that was like rotoscoped?
Yes, it's rotoscope.
Yes.
It's NC-17. It was very like heavy metal influence.
Oh, okay. I only know that exists because I'm the editor for another podcast, and they interviewed like the two guys who created that.
Oh hell yeah!
Wacky.
It was a cool movie, but it really like plot wise was very Adventure Time. It was like Adventure Time rated X, basically.
I've never heard anyone call it like that, but I guess that makes me a little bit more interested in watching it.
It does.
Yeah,
The art style is like the way, you can tell it's rotoscoped instantly by the way the faces are drawn.
Yeah, some of it looks really cool. Some of it, it's rotoscoped, so it looks a little janky. Also, like the main character has her titties out the entire
I love
movie,
that.
but you can tell.
Epic.
I do like it too, but you can tell that she was wearing a bodysuit and probably a bra when they rotoscoped her, so her titties don't move around like a naked titty would move.
That's hilarious.
They really should have rotoscoped her naked. Put two sensors on the nipple.
Give her the
find an actress that's willing to do it naked, so you can.
No, there's like silicone titties that you could like put over.
Spend all that money for nothing. just have her be naked.
I'm pretty sure there's like some sort of like there's probably some sort. They're probably going to have to pay her extra or get another actress to do it.
I see it now. Yeah. I see.
Yeah, it was a cool movie. Very low complaints.
Yeah.
Epic. All right, that's like on the long list of shit I need to check out.
Oh yeah, there's always so much media.
That's why I like a letterbox. Help me keep track of everything.
Oh yeah, I love Letterboxd.
Wait,
Lucy Lawless is the voice of the main character.
Was she the one who was rotoscope for it? No,
maybe.
It's just. I think it's just her voice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Wait, Eddie, you have a Letterboxd account?
I have an account. I never post to it, but I should post on it. My boyfriend does all the posting, and we watch all the same movies, so I never feel motivated to write a review like after he writes one.
I always like do short. Yeah, I guess that makes for sharing it.
But I should because I do have some different takes. We don't agree on everything.
You got my Letterboxd. My last review is for Sonic 2.
Oh, what did you think?
I thought it was better than the first one, but
Cheesy's not very cool. He's not like a Sonic super fan,
I thought it was better than the first one, but I didn't think the first one set a high bar. Really, I still think Angry Birds is like the best video game movie.
Never seen it.
It's good. It's like anti-Zootopia. It's like Zootopia is all about like Zootopia's all like racism is bad, and then Angry Bird comes along and being like man, fuck those pigs. Those pigs that come from foreign lands. They come over here. They take our kids. We
Yes.
gotta fucking murder them.
I saw some like really like sus like conjecture about like the meaning of the Angry Birds movie. It's like what is
The Angry Birds movie came out during the refugee crisis from a couple years back. It came out around at the same time, and people were like, they're saying like, oh, if you notice, all the main characters' birds are like the same color as the German flag, which had the most like Syrian refugees.
that one's like
There's-
silly, but like the pigs having like that like typically Jewish, I mean not Jewish,
Or
like Muslim
they-
like beard like like
once
this is
once
weird.
they go to like the pig land, there's a place called like Amnesty International.
Oh my God.
And
Hey,
there's all these like, I'm pretty sure they didn't mean it like that. They probably just did it was just the most obvious pun to make. But
you bring up Zootopia. You reminded me of something that maybe Eddie could give us a little bit of insight on. There's this
okay,
person named Patricia Jackson. Have you ever heard of them? It doesn't matter if
No,
you've heard of
but
them or not.
go ahead.
They had this take a little while ago where they said that Zootopia was not, furries don't like Zootopia because it's like too well thought out. Let me just post. Let me just
I'm
post
I
this.
need to look. I need to look for it. But
I
I
have
remember
it.
it
I
being.
have it
don't
here.
like Zootopia because it's cop propaganda.
I mean,
Sure. I
you
mean,
don't
that's
have to
I mean
think too hard
that
about
too.
it.
Yeah.
here's the tweet. So it is Zootopia is ironically not very good fur bait IMO. Like the world building is too intensive and foreign. They thought too much about how a society of animals would actually work. Actual furry fandom world building is usually a lot more like Netflix's Bright. Do you have anything to say about this?
I mean, I do prefer furry media to just be furry for furry's sake instead of like have
Carnivores
furriness
versus
be part of
herbivores.
yeah.
Okay.
That's
If
what I okay,
furriness
yeah.
is part of the plot or like integral to the world building, it kind of becomes boring because then there's only so many things that you can say. I prefer characters to just be furry for no reason.
Interesting. That's what I assumed it was because this person going by their profile picture, they're like a carnivore furry. So if they were to exist in Zootopia world, that would like say something about like like you would come in with like a pre-made like station based off of like what the world
Yeah,
has placed you in.
Zootopia sucks. I watched The Bad Guys recently,
Yes, I need to
which is
see
like
that.
the new furry movie. It was pretty cute. I mean, I liked it because it was nothing like Zootopia.
I like
It,
Zootopia.
it
Yeah.
was. I mean, Nick Wilde is hot. You can't deny it. But Zootopia, it's not for me.
I'm a really big fan of those two doujinshis I read
Oh my
based off.
God, yeah.
Oh, the
Oh wait,
abortion one?
Judy
it was
Hopps.
it was one doujinshi I think. And she has like sex with Nick. Lot.
There's quite a few with her in them, and they're all very good. But
What are you saying, Spike? Or you continue on with your point?
that's interesting because I'm not really a furry. I may have a fursona and all that, but I don't really consider myself one. And I tend to prefer furry stories that are like Zootopia or like Beastars, where it's like, oh, this is like, oh, they're like
Or they're trying to
divided.
make sense
They're
out of
trying to
like.
make sense.
Mhm.
Like I like a good like, oh, everybody's a wacky animal for no reason, but I
Sure.
tend to prefer like that kind of thing just because it's
Are
like
you,
I don't know.
do you like it? Do you like the My Gym Partners Monkey universe? You think that's the direction Frazee to go in? Like there's humans, but
The
there's also
my
like a school for animals.
Yeah, that's like the BoJack Horseman type. Like,
yeah, the the
I,
gym
I
partner is crazy. I actually do like that show, and I like the school because there's fish and land animals in the same school, but the fish have like their own part of the school because they're fish, and it's like they have to like go through pipes in the walls that are like filled with water to like traverse around this. I really like that, but
that's sweet. That's very unique.
yeah, it's a good show. It's underrated.
Yeah. Maybe I'll check it out. Yeah, sometimes you can go too far in the like furry lore
furry
though.
realism.
Yeah, the furry
Yeah.
realism. Like there was like this manga that was really just horny and bad. That was like called Centaur's Worries, and they just like
Oh,
Oh,
they
I
that.
had
think I heard that
so
one.
many like the author had like so many asides like explaining like
Oh, I
how a
love that.
centaur wipes its ass, and I was like, you're just doing this to be horny. Like it doesn't have to be this scientific dissertation, but it was framed that
That's
way.
interesting because I love the science. Like if it's like a fantasy
I
world, like
I think it
I want it
depends.
to make sense. And I love animals with like because their unique biology and like the way they are. So it's like
Mhm.
if you're gonna have animal people in a world, I want them to like, they're not just people. And I understand
Yeah,
why like
you need that hard sci-fi in your
I
furry
I
I
universe.
kind of yeah.
I
Hmm.
think I think I like so because there was this video I was watching that was comparing like the messaging in Zootopia to the messaging of Mouse. Everyone here has read
Jesus
Mouse, right?
Christ. I have
Mhm.
actually
And
not read Mouse.
Mouse is kind of interesting where like the fact that they're mouse isn't like they're not
Yes.
mouse in the story. It's just like a style choice is why they were
Hmm.
chosen to be mouse.
Yeah.
Because there's like one part of the story where they talk about a character who's like German, but he didn't he says he's not Jewish even though he was front of the camps. He's just German. And they talk about for a split second he turned into a cat when they were talking to him
Yeah.
because it's more of a metaphor. They're not like biologically mouse. They're metaphorically a mouse in the story, and I think it just depends on the story. Like if you want to, if most stories that are like have like the hard sci-fi are trying to say something different than the story where it's like, oh, it's the fact that they're furries is just like aesthetic, right?
Hmm.
You know, it
I
just
do
depends
like
on
it
like
when it says something because if I'm like watching a fantasy or something, I do like it. I don't like fantasy where all the races are just people that just look different. I
you didn't
want them
like
to
the
have
Lord of
like
the Rings.
interplay. Not like Lord of the Rings. I want them to have like interplay. Like I want like, oh, the humans hate elves and the elves blah blah blah. I want that
I
fantasy
want
racism.
racism.
I
Yeah,
want that fantasy racism. I want it to matter, and I don't want it to just be like a design, like an aesthetic that you can just put on or take
Yeah,
off.
that's
God, I'm
fair. The one like idea that I had for like a furry has to do with the plot device type plot was like a furry universe of like mostly like cats, dogs, and maybe rabbits that
Hmm.
um like volunteer to like get spayed and neutered in order to like
Whoa.
not overpopulate their the
Oh,
same reason why you would get your pet spayed and neuter, but
yeah.
then like transgender like furries start like getting spayed and neutered like as like a gender expression move, and
what was
then
that?
like
What
Whoa.
was that one?
What
What
is
was that
that?
one comic?
this is a
Um,
comic from my mind that I haven't written
Oh,
yet.
okay, okay.
there's like one that has it that unironically has a very similar premise where there's like it's isn't the one with the guy who's like raised who's like a wolf and he's raised in wolf society and they're like as a young boy they're trained to like hunt the rabbit people, but he for a split second he like befriends one and
Beastars.
And
no
fucks
not
her.
Beast.
And fucks her.
No,
And
it
he
was called
fucks
like
her.
I think it was called Funny Bunny Comic, but it
No, I haven't
but
seen it.
but when he's like alone he like pretends to be a bunny and it ends with like him getting the wolf to rabbit surgery at the end.
What?
Okay,
I love
No.
so
that. That's amazing.
No.
That sounds fun. Yeah, I mostly thought of
That's
this idea because I wanted to invent this like terrible like
Fox
conservative
Funny, that's what it's called. Yeah. Oh, wait, hold up, I'll link it.
Fox Bunny
You
friend.
you keep talking. I'm gonna get real quick.
Oh yeah. Um yeah, I wanted to like invent this villain who was like either some sort of like corporate bigwig or like maybe a politician who was just like, don't spay and neuter yourself, like, propagate. Um and
Hmm.
then yeah, maybe he could be like a cattle
like a great
farmer or
replacement type
something.
thing.
Hmm.
This looks good.
Um,
This is a it's an interesting comic. I read it when I was young. I didn't get it at the time, but then when I got older, I was like, oh, he's like this universe version of being transgender or whatever. Well,
that's
whatever. Well, the thing is, like, metaphors get so. The thing is, like, animal metaphors
it's
are
a
so kind
metaphor,
of.
yeah.
It could be sloppy. I feel like Zootopia is like it's saying like
Very
sure race,
sloppy.
yeah, sure racism bad, but at the end of the day, the foxes do eat the rabbits. Like
Hmm.
it's like, you know,
It's
it's too
unavoidable because it's like, oh, they're subjugated. The carnivores are subjugated, but it's like they literally do pose a danger. And like
that,
Beastars does actually have things to say about this, but yeah, it's
I am it was gonna say about furry and animal races. Oh God, I was trying to remember the name of a buddy of mine who got pretty popular for drawing furry art. And I forget her name, but she her big thing that she draws like this mouse girl and like wolf girlfriend.
oh yeah, yeah. Who is that?
I forget her name, but
Oh wait,
oh
no, the
God,
one
I'm
I'm thinking
sorry.
of was a mouse and a cat, I think. I don't know
Or
which one
was
you're
it a
talking.
cat? Was it a cat? It was like the cat is like huge and the mouse is like
Yes.
small, and it's like this
Yes.
weird like, oh, when they're making out, haha, is he gonna eat her? Haha,
Mm,
kind
the
of kind of.
size difference is really nice. I'm like into this webcomic
Um,
right now that's called Little Willy. That's like about like a little.
Little Willy.
Okay, yeah, it literally
Hell
is called
yeah,
that. The
hell
funny part
yeah.
is he actually has a big dick for his size, but he's like a little goat,
Oh, this is
and
real furry. I'm looking at it.
yeah, and then the romance is with like this big horse guy. It's super
Yes.
hot. They're like in college, but it's like a Christ. They both come from like Christian
Like
homes, and
Christianity.
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
it's
didn't they join your server, Cheesy? Sorry to interrupt. Didn't they
Yeah,
join your server?
they joined my server, but I forget. I think their Discord name is different then,
Um,
and they keep going. Eddie,
Nico.
oh, I mean that's all I really have to say.
I just looked it up right now, and I'm like, yeah, that looks like furry.
It's beautifully drawn. It's like
Oh,
really
definitely.
incredibly drawn.
This is like too furry for me. I can't.
This
This
is
is like the art style. I'm like, oh, that's a real horse with human eyes.
he has like he
he
has
has
the
like
Chad
human
chin.
lips.
He
Yeah,
look
he's like a big
he
Chad.
looks like that guy Sir, how he draws himself with a horse.
Oh yeah,
Chad.
he looks like.
The
Uh,
artist was Nico. I'm trying to find their
I Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, her name is Nico something. Actually, if I just look it up on my in Twitter, she might pop up first because we're mutuals.
cool
But
posting.
I gotta show you this, Eddie, because oh yeah, it's Nico,
Nico.
and yeah, she does the whole thing where it's like a cat girl and a mouse girl
I love this. This
are like
artist is great.
dating, and but the cat girl is like they're sweating, like oh, because he's gonna eat her or she's gonna make out with her. Oh no,
That sounds great.
yeah, this right here.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
That looks fun. I'm gonna
Truly
check that out.
inspired artwork.
I don't know if they have but yeah, this is beautiful. They also when we were talking in the DM, she said she really thought all that big Twitter artist stuff was super funny, which is base. I love it when people are on my are there on my side of the big artist debacle.
Let me find.
Okay, find your thing, Spork, and then after that
No, that
we got
was it. That's the
okay.
one.
Well, in that case, we're close to the end of the show, and I gotta ask the final question for for both of you, right? And this final question, I end every episode with this. It's who do you think deserves to be canceled this week? And I have one person I want to cancel, and I want to cancel Merriweather. Do you guys know who Merriweather is?
Yes,
No.
I do.
He's like the Stan Lee of webtoons, and by Stan Lee I mean he's like just as awful as Stan Lee was. And he's this guy. He's not an artist. He's like a writer, and
Quote unquote writer.
he's a quote unquote writer. And his gimmick is that he like any popular meme, like he pays someone to draw like that the anime girl version of that like character, right?
Trash.
yeah, and that's basically it. And he labels himself as like the writer for these comics. But if you read the comics, it's literally just like the meme, like but like in a comic form, and that's it. And the thing that really like made him popular is that the artists that he gets are the super popular like anime artists, like super popular digital anime artists. And I guess there's nothing wrong with being like incredibly super popular, but like just so like he really is pretty good at cranking out like mid. He's you know like the generic seasonal anime, like he's like a master at creating that. And I saw an interview with him where he was talking about how he actually watches the first episode of all seasonal anime, and that's where he pulls ideas from. And I'm like, that makes too much sense. Like I probably would, if I was him, I would not have admit that, because it's like you're giving away the secret, dog. It's like, and he's also like the people he associates with himself are, he has like a handful of friends who are like reactionaries, these like right winger types. I know recently he made one of his characters cross over with like a right winger character, and it's so like why? Well, why? It's like the most boring person you know teamed up with the most worst person you know.
Yeah, I went to his webtoon and I clicked on NFT Chan's Crisis, and you know what? We can go ahead and cancel him. Like, throw the whole thing out, you know?
Yeah,
He has dozens of webtoons. Because he
he-
only has to write like like a basic like anime joke that you would see in any episode of the worst anime, and have his artists just go from there. So he pays a bunch of artists for a bunch of different comics to do this stuff, and it's all terrible and awful and bad. But he rakes in the money, because it's like, this is what it's like slightly Coomer. It's like very weeb, and it's like very like Coomer-y.
It's that popular, like on the borderline of Coomer.
Yeah.
And it to him, his origin story, from what we know, from what little we know about him, well, not little, there's probably way more information about him online, but he said that he only had like 200, he was like an office job. He went to one convention, and he's all like, wow, I want to be as popular as the stuff you see in these conventions. And he got like $200, and he like DM'd every artist on DeviantArt that he was aware of, to be like, I will pay you 200 to just draw like my comic. And finally one person agreed, and I guess it was the right person who agreed, and that like was the beginning of it, right? And
you can tell that he's not passionate for it, because if he felt passion for this, he would learn how to draw. You know?
I think it's like, even like, I mean, I think it's like, it's not that he's not it's not that he's not passionate, but he's passionate about being popular, I guess.
He's passionate about making money and being popular, yeah.
Because like his origin, if the way he talks about how he started, there's no like series, there's no like type of thing that made him like, it wasn't like, oh, this type of artist inspired me, or this type of story inspired me. No, he went to a convention, saw how popular this thing is, and he's like, I want to be this popular. And it's like, that's not like creative inspiration. That's just like, that's just like, I want to be famous. It's like what inspired him ultimately, and you feel that like it's just about like doing the popular thing, you know. And I don't know how it's gonna be. He's probably gonna get an anime eventually if he keeps cranking out like all this mid stuff, you know. And I don't know, like every time I hear an interview with him, he sounds so like, he sounds like he's coming off as he wants to be like relatable to people, right? But it just doesn't feel like that.
So you're not going to bring up the recent comic that probably had you thinking about this?
Well, he wasn't involved with that.
He wasn't involved. This guy's gotten so big that he can just have writers and artists decide to do what he's been doing the whole time, but it's still underneath his name.
Well, what he did was that he like had this whole, the meme girl thing like became its own thing, and he sold off that I don't even know what the fuck exactly he sold off or whatever, but like the whole idea of like meme girls, of memes turned into girls, was so big that he could sell it, and then other people just use that, and it's like,
still under his name.
What is this?
What are you doing? He's like the Walt Disney of like the worst, like awful, like anime webcomics.
It's like the Walt Disney of like okay taste. of like the most basic 5 out of 10 taste. But like it works, like it catches on. People really love it.
Yeah, I mean, turning a meme into an anime girl, how could you go wrong? Like, obviously, that's going to hit with the masses. I'm surprised that it took so long to like make a business out of it, but
he's been around for like a while now. I think back when a couple years before I started doing Bonk Luna, he's been around. And I've actually read one of his like webtoons just to kind of get a vibe, and it was incredibly mid. It was very much like if this was like a seasonal anime, people wouldn't talk about this after a week. And I guess that's why he has to keep pumping them out because people don't talk about it like after a while.
He followed me for like a hot minute and then unfollowed me.
Yeah, he's like friends with one of our friends, and I don't know. He just bothers me. He bothers my existence. Yes, he should get canceled. He's the person I'm canceling this week.
That's mine
All right.
too. I have no other idea.
You want to cancel Merriweather?
Unless I can think of
cancel
something
Merriweather.
really quick.
I
You
want
can't.
to cancel Marilyn Manson.
Oh, epic!
Yeah, Marilyn Manson can get canceled. Fuck him.
Wasn't he canceled?
He was.
I guess he's kind of canceled, but I still see people like ironically
Defending
repping
him.
him, and I'm just,
Oh
just
God!
like, don't.
He's a queer
Don't
icon.
even go there. No, he's not.
He's not.
The Nine Inch
Joking.
Nails is actually good, you know.
Joking.
No one who was popular in the '90s became a queer icon.
What are you
Yeah.
canceling him for now?
I guess
just for existing.
Just for existing. I mean, we all know he's like an abuser, but I guess I'll just cancel him personally, and I will choose to stan Chris Angel Mind Freak instead.
That damn, I haven't when I was younger, we were all about that Chris Angel Mind Freak.
Dude, same. I want a world where Chris Angel became as big as Marilyn Manson.
He was like back in the early 2000s. His show, the Mind Freak, do you know Mind Freak? Yeah, with that fucking intro. Are you ready? Yeah, remember that?
Yes, I love that show.
Yeah,
okay, I have an idea of who I want to cancel.
Okay.
I won't spend very long on this, but let me find their name because I just forgot.
Is their name? You can't say Ben Sane. Don't fucking say Ben Sane.
I should say that, but no. It's the person is Pantsu Ripper, who is a popular anime meme artist, who I do like their art, but they're cringe, unfortunately, and that makes me sad. They're like, yeah.
He's like an anime. He's not a guy who turns like memes into anime girls. He just draws anime girls doing popular meme
Good
stuff.
artist, and some of his drawings are funny, and I like them. But he seems a little too cozy with some far right ideas or jokes, and I'm like, ugh.
That's like the guessing game. It's like some people who are really into the anime shit. Like, oh yeah, I'm totally okay with like having some Nazis in my fandom.
Yeah, the thing in question was he retweeted this. Somebody took one of his drawings and put them. The picture's kind of funny. I'll post it in the chat. Somebody took one of his drawings and put it like photoshopped it into like this like what's Confederate like mudding like ATV like stuck in the mud in like the woods picture, which is like one thing.
The beer's cold.
At least, yeah. And there's like Confederate flags and everything, and it says like Redneck Nation, and that would be one thing, because this person just like photoshopped it. But Pansy Riff is like epic underneath in the comments, and like. And like they retweeted it, and it's like this is like it should. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think once you're, I don't know.
Confederate flags on Maine, like, or on anywhere.
They're like a Spanish. I don't think they're like American. They're definitely not
Mexican.
American. They might be like Mexican, But
I think there's a Mexican flag in their bio.
yes,
But,
okay, yeah, you're right.
but yeah, he's gotten pretty cringe. I mean, what to expect? Popular anime person on Twitter turns out to have friends with reactionaries.
Yeah, I'm just like people who are either so checked out that they don't care, or I guess like secretly or for that stuff, but don't like broadcast it. Cringe, and I don't like it. That's
Yeah,
all.
here. All right, so yeah, we got it. We got it all. Got it all out. So before we end, part where you guys shill your stuff. So what anything coming out soon you want people to know of? Sorry, I was just fucking burped right now. I drank a little bit of Sierra Mist while you were talking.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. I'm gonna drink a little bit more right now though, but
Drinking
go ahead and
Sierra
show.
Mist, Morty. Okay.
I
Go
hire
ahead,
me.
Spork.
I will eventually have a portfolio. Not right now. I'm still working on it. Hire me, pay me money. That's all. I quit my job just I quit my job that I hated so that I could like,
Congratulations.
yes, thank you. 'Cause I wanted to like go hard on like finally getting an art job. So I'm currently working on savings. I'm currently living off savings right now. Pay me money so I don't starve. That's all.
Give this girl money so she won't die.
Yep,
Oh
that's
yeah.
me.
Oh yeah. All right. So what you got going for you, Eddie? So what's coming up?
Coming up, the next thing that I'm putting out is just like a expanded edition of this like how to make zines zine that I made a couple years ago. It's just called Making Comic Zines. It's out through Silver Sprocket sometime this summer. And it's mostly just to like help get people started making comics because it's a lot easier than you think. And I know, Cheesy, you're with me on this one. I hate when people talk about this comic that they want to make and they don't actually make it.
Oh my God! Yes, yes.
So it's kind of a book trying to just like get people to like make anything.
I fucking oh my God! Yeah. Keep on going, and I'm gonna bring up something.
Yeah, so that'll be coming out through Silver Sprocket sometime this year, hopefully this summer. And then you can follow me on Instagram at Eddy Atoms, or you can check out my Patreon, which is also patreon.com/Eddy Atoms, and that has all my stuff on it. And other than that, not a website guy, but go ahead.
I was gonna the whole like I need to get back on. I think I need to be more aggressive again about people making comics. I used to be like that a couple of years back.
It's good to bully people for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Then we get more comics.
Extremely annoying.
Man, shut the fuck up.
No, you shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up.
This
Shut the
guy
fuck up.
always like, oh, I see you drawing. Why aren't you drawing a comic? Nigga, I
Yes.
don't want to draw a comic right now. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, comics, you know,
not for everybody. Not for everybody. But okay, so I'm gonna call out a buddy of mine right now. I got a friend of mine. His name is Dupio, and he's a cool guy. He's a chill guy. But there's this one thing about him that I'm super conflicted and pretty annoyed about, and pretty jealous about too. I'll even say that. Like he talks about this one comic he wants to make, and he's always posting all the characters that are gonna be in the comic. Like, here's my character sheets, blah blah blah. Does this a lot. He becomes super popular on Twitter, mostly from giving, like, I guess his opinions on popular media. Gets him a lot of attention. He mostly draws a lot of like porn of one specific character from this comic who doesn't exist yet. This comic is not out yet. It's not in no form, and he's been talking about this for like
already fapping to the girl. That's good. You're in a good place.
That's the strat.
Yeah, true. But when the fuck is the comic coming out? Like, where the fuck is the comic? Like, no, for reals. I'm like, dude. Like, I know he has like his jobs are shitty that he works at and whatnot, but like, damn, I don't know. Like, I guess like, cause with me, it's like, I don't like the idea of to me, I never liked the idea of showing any characters that are going to be in a comic until that comic is out, because that's like, I don't know, it doesn't feel right.
It's a good way to build hype about it, though. I mean,
I guess. I just don't know how long this guy's been doing at this, but it feels like ever since I started following him, like maybe a year ago, it's like the same character, like sheets he's posting over and over again, or like, oh, this is my characters in the comic, but if they had Pokemon, and it's like, all right, where's the comic though? Where's the comic? Is this comic gonna exist or not?
Drawing the characters from the comic with Pokemon is more fun than drawing the comic. Sorry, that's just how it is.
Look, okay, you know what? That's fine. If people have that mentality, that's fine. But I think that probably like that's low key another way of saying they're not super interested in drawing the comic. That's just, but it's just like a beating around the bush kind of way to say it.
He's not evil. He's not evil for not
He's
being
not
interested
evil
in drawing the comic, Cheesy. It's
He's
not the
not
end of the
evil.
fucking world that he doesn't want to draw the comic right now.
If people want to call me evil, that's fine. But it's annoying, and it's annoying because like, where is it though? Where is it though?
I'm gonna make a character inspired by this guy now, in my comic, because the first version of my zine was like just a straight up how-to with like no characters, but now I have characters that are all like types of people that want to make a comic but they didn't. Now I'm gonna make one that's like your friend.
Okay, that's fine as long as you give him a different name.
Don't worry, I don't even remember what name you said.
Okay, cool. I'm not gonna repeat it though.
There's a lot of people like this. It's just
there is a lot of people like you could find a shitload of people who have put the complete like this is every character. This is the villain of the first arc. This is the villain of the second arc. This is the villain of the third. Bro, just do the comic.
Drawing comics is incredibly difficult and
oh my god,
time consuming.
The thing is, you don't have to make them look that good. Like people look at comics for like 5 seconds.
That's my problem.
True.
I can't agree. Because with me, I'm like, okay, this has to look fucking amazing. And if it doesn't, I will work.
Be okay with making bad drawings.
I cannot. Exactly. See, I can't be okay with it.
You gotta be. You're not gonna make it. You're not. This feel. It's gonna eat you alive. It's gonna eat you alive if you don't have that mentality.
It's just like I will spend a lot of time making the comic look as good as possible. Because all my favorite comics spend a lot of time looking as good as possible. So I'm like, oh, I have to be as good as that.
Yeah,
there's no point.
But I bet you that at that point they're always like experienced veterans in their field, and
sure
but you're not Spork, and you should be fine with that.
But
you can be, but you're not gonna. But with that attitude, you're not gonna
look that good though. I can though, so I have.
Okay, where's the comic? Where's the comic?
You've seen my comics.
Where's the comic though? Where's the comic though? I don't see them. I see. I'm gonna look over to my shelf. I see Eddie's comic. I see my comic. I see.
My comic isn't on shelves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Comics not on shelves.
All right. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You're gonna tell me you have a girlfriend? She lives in Canada. That's why we don't see her.
I do not have a girlfriend.
The secret's out. Exposed right here on the podcast. Doesn't have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
There you go. You have no excuse not to make a comic. You're girlfriend free.
Yeah, you got plenty of time. Just
draw exactly.
See, that's what somebody. The hustle. You got to be on the hustle all the time looking for a girlfriend. I ain't got time to draw a comic.
You're not.
I'm on the hunt. I'm on the hunt right now. I don't have time.
Well, you're a terrible hunter. I'll tell you that. You're being a garbage hunter.
You don't know how successful my hunting has been going.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, that'd be so successful. You can't see all my girlfriends right next.
Hey.
That I have acquired.
It takes a while to find the one. It's like fishing. You throw back a lot of the fish. You don't eat them all.
I drew like 5 comics right now while I was talking. I think you need to up your game.
Prove it.
Oh my. No, you prove you have girlfriends.
I said I don't have any girlfriends.
Boom, got her. I won.
I don't think you got anything. I don't think you got anything.
Yeah, okay. Looks like I won this round.
You've never won anything in your life.
Okay, thank you for coming on, Eddy and Spork. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, love to have you guys on. I love to have you, Eddy, on. Spork, I guess. I guess she's on the
I'm
podcast.
the one. This dude would be lost without me. He would be fucking nothing.
I think you are great together as You're not the co-host, Spork. This is just.
We do have
I am.
another. No, she's not the co-host. We have another podcast.
Well, I think you make a great team. So
where she's on that one too. But I think so too. Too bad she's annoying. That's not true. She's not the most annoying. Meriwether's
Shut the fuck up in the comic. in the comic, in the podcast. It's
Okay,
over.
all right,
all right.
I gotta go.
All right,
My dogs are
okay,
barking
cool.
at me.
All right,
Bye,
have a good one.
everybody.
Yeah.
Bye.